Aye, what is up, guys? Losermaniac here, and yeah, judging by the title, I gotta. I'm not being weird. I kind of want to talk about this because this is pretty weird. So I've been playing Mass Effect a lot recently. And one of the things I feel like I should recommend for people who play Mass Effect is just get a romance option. It's not weird. It is a bit weird, but you should at least get a romance option because it adds more to the story, plot, whatever. Now, here's the thing. Over time, you're gonna have a lot of difficult choices. And believe me, I get it. Not really. I always stick with two. But I want to talk about the weirdness of the romance options, and then I'm going to see if I can try and fix it somehow. So, first things first, let's start off with the first game. There are 3 total romance options, 2 of which are gender specific, 1 of them is not. Pretty straightforward, you know. Maybe you don't like the options given. Boom, you now have a third option, Liara. If you don't like humans like Ashley or Kaidan, boom, you have an Asari. So there's that. The second game ramps it up. 3 different gender specific options per gender, which means in the second game, the guy has 3 different choices, and so does the female. And then there's 2 different non-gender specific options. I say 2 because the third one kills you if you try and romance her, so I'm not including her. Morinth. I'm not including Morinth. And then the third game ramps it up by giving the male Shepard 5 total options, 3 of which have to be imported from the second game. If you romance them in the second game, the female has 3, 2 of which have to be if you romance them in the second game. And then about 1, 2, 3 and a half for like the non-gender specifics. So yeah, a lot of options. A lot of options for the Mass Effect 3 option area. So first, I'm gonna see if I can try and sort of fix this. I can't do anything about it because the game is years old. This franchise is years old, even though the Legendary Edition came out recently. I think a couple months ago. I think. So yeah, I'm trying to make sure no one is home. So yeah, so let's start here with the first game. The first game is pretty fine, you know. You have, if you're a male, you have Ashley and Liara, and if you're female, you have Kaidan and Liara. You cannot have both, you can only have one. Okay? The first game is pretty straightforward. I like that. I just wish they made Ashley a bit more likable, but whatever. Right? The second game, what the hell? Okay, so I'm gonna be a bit controversial here. Controversial meaning like if you pay attention to my channel. So I guess I'm gonna make a surprise call here. I don't think Miranda should have been a romance option, and here's why. I feel like she's a bit more professional to let personal feelings of Shepard interfere with what she's doing. Like, yes, obviously, it is a very stressful point. You know, they're doing a suicide mission. It's going to be very stressful. That makes sense. But I feel like Miranda is a bit too, like I mentioned already, professional. And she even mentions if you try and romance her, that the mission is too important to let personal feelings interfere. So she knows how important this is and how serious this is. So that should have just like stopped right there. Maybe a bit of flirting. Maybe I'll allow that. But like full blown sex in the engineering room, nah. I don't think so. I don't think it should have went that far. Just because she's professional. That's basically it. Plus, I feel like maybe she would have a bit of a bias towards Shepard. And might turn on the and turn against the Elusive Man. So there's that. Um, Plus, I mean, yeah, she is the elusive man's second in command. That could come across as being a bit unprofessional. So basically, I'm just repeating what I'm saying previously, just extending it out for a minute because I need to explain myself. So yeah, so now that leaves Tali and Jack. Tali, totally fine. Personally, for me, I don't understand. I kind of understand the hype around Tali, but I like Miranda better than Tali. Just because I think she's a better friend than she is. I prefer her as a friend rather than girlfriend. That sounds weird. But yeah, and then Jack, I mean, she's. How do I put this nicely? Limited. She's very restricted. She doesn't really care for the personal side of things. And it's pretty obvious that she it makes it seem a bit weird that she doesn't like Cerberus, but since you're Cerberus, she's willing to sleep with you, date you. I don't get it. But and plus she, like I mentioned before, she seems very restricted, meaning that she doesn't want the personal feelings. She doesn't want to be hurt. It happened before. It's happened to her before, so I feel like something like that would just be like a no. I can't. I appreciate it, but I just can't deal with it. So yeah, so now that would leave, like I mentioned before, Tali. So now we have one preferred female or male option, and it makes sense as to why it's Tali because they've been around since before the original Normandy blew up, you know. So I feel like something like that is reason enough, you know. So now let's move on to females. First of all, let's get Jacob Taylor out of there because he cheats on you in the third game. Fuck him. Plus, again, kind of the same thing with Miranda. He maybe not as restricted as Miranda would be because Jacob isn't the second in command. He's just a member of Cerberus. So, although between Miranda and Jacob, I do feel like Jacob would be a bit more qualified than Miranda because she has more power since she's the elusive man's second in command. But otherwise, that's about it. Plus, I don't know. I don't like Jacob as a whole, and that has nothing to do with the whole fact that he cheats on you. In the third game, it's just weird. He's a bit too professional. That's why I like Miranda. She doesn't care, but she's serious. But Jacob is very, very too professional for my taste. Yeah. So then that leaves Garrus. Garrus, just like Tali, very understandable. Maybe, but I feel like unlike Tali, Garrus doesn't have a crush on Shepard. Maybe. I don't know. Now, Garrus does explain that he does respect Shepard, but doesn't have a crush on her. Now, that could be me twisting words around, but to me, it just seems like, you know, Garrus respects Shepard, so that makes the most sense. Plus, I mean, Garrus is badass as a whole. Who doesn't want a badass boyfriend? Although Miranda and Jack are pretty badass, so that's kind of never mind. And then Thane has a wife. All right, that's the weird part. Thane has a wife, or had a wife, because she's dead. Whatever. But yeah, I just. Plus, I mean, he dies in the third game, so that's a short-lived relationship. That's almost like, I was gonna say like a year-long relationship, but that's about as long as the rest of the Mass Effect 2 romances. Yeah, so yeah, each gender has one romance option. Which I'm not trying to limit how much romance options are in each game. I'm trying to limit how much romance options are available in the third game, because that is obscene. and ridiculous. Like 5, and it seems unfair. 5 for the male, 3 for the female. Come on, really? You can't do that. So now we need one that's in place of Liara, like non-gender specific. I gotta say Kelly because we've already have an Asari romance option. If we split it down the middle, we now have 3 human options and 3 xenophilic options or alien options. There. See, although no, Koreans aren't human. I feel like they would have been classified as such. Whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah. So then there's that. So now with Mass Effect 3, we are very shortened now. So now we have 3 different romance options for male, 3, or I guess 2 in this case, different romance options for female. Although, let's be honest here, I feel like for this purpose, we should make Kaidan a female, because I feel like a lot of people love the male, or like Kaidan and male Shepard romance, but I just feel like we got to make it fair for each gender. So Kaidan would have to be strictly female option in this case. And then since there's homosexual options, you have Steve for male and then Samantha Trainer for female. So yeah, 3 and 3 for each. Plus, I feel like you gotta have the squad mates be romanceable. That is something I forgot about, is the fact that because Miranda and Jack aren't squad mates, which means that their romances are very limited to, like, I think you see Miranda more than you do Jack. So I feel like with Jack and Miranda, Miranda would be the best choice to have overall, because Miranda shows up 3 times. If we're not including the Citadel DLC, or 4, the first one is just outside of the docking bay, or D24. The second time is over the hologram after the Citadel attack, and the third one is at the apartment to finalize your romance with her, and then the 4th one is Sanctuary. And then, okay, I guess 5, because the last one is the video call with her to say goodbyes. But Jack shows up 3 times. Grissom Academy, whenever you need to, after the Citadel attack, if you romance her to finalize your romance. Again, if we're not including the Citadel DLC, and then at the end, where you're saying goodbyes. That's it. So there's that. And then you have Liara, you have Kelly, and then I feel like to if we're gonna, I'm here to like fix the romance options. So I feel like you gotta give Samara and Kelly more attention than they really deserve. Like, I truly, at the very least, I feel like Kelly deserves more attention with the Citadel. With the Citadel DLC. Because she's just like a one and done thing. You see her... I don't know. I've never done a Kelly romance. I barely pay attention to the Kelly romance. I haven't even romanced Kelly. The only 2 people I've ever romanced is Liara and Miranda. That's it. But yet, I pay more attention to like the main romances as opposed to like Kelly, and although I pay attention to Samara because she's an interesting one to have. So yeah, I there's something there. I got nothing else. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, how to fix. This is how I fixed the Mass Effect romance options. Get rid of Miranda and Jack, Jacob, Thane, in the second game, which I hate saying that you have to get rid of Miranda because I fucking love Miranda so much. And then just make Kelly a bit more active in the third game, a lot more active in the third game, And then boom, that's how. And then just make like a Samara and Kelly Citadel thing. But again, game came out years ago. There's nothing I can do, but that's how I would fix it. I don't know. If you guys could prove me wrong, please do, because I want to see why someone like Jack or Miranda or Thane. If you can find some way to prove to me that Jacob is a good suit for the second game as a whole, I would love to see that. I understand that like maybe they were trying to like make it even amongst people. Cause if you went 3 for males and then 2 for females, that just seems a bit unfair because there aren't that many options. Even though that's how it was in the third game, Christ. But yeah, so and I guess it makes sense. Each like if Miranda's romanceable, she's a member of Cerberus, so have Jacob romanceable since he's also a member of Cerberus. But that also leads to bigger flaws with that because I feel like Miranda is more Cerberus than Jacob is. So you're sleeping with Cerberus if you're a guy. If you're a girl, Cerberus is sleeping with you. I don't know. I'm making this a lot more weird, but yeah. By the way, just a little fun fact for you guys. If you guys didn't know, so whenever you go through like the romance scenes, in the third game, because the second game and first game are pretty new. In the third game, the music that plays is the exact same music that Tali sings along with if you romance her during the Citadel DLC, just without the words. Instrumentally, it is that song. It is... I don't know how I noticed that, but I was just sitting there, and then Tali was singing along, and I was like, this song sounds so familiar. And then I imagined that scene where I was sleeping with Liara on my way to Earth, or no, it was to the Cerberus lab, because and that's when that happens. And then and then I was like, oh, it's that song. It's the song that plays whenever you romance someone. Even someone like Miranda. If you romance Miranda, I think Jack is the only one that it doesn't show up with. No, there has to be others. But it even shows up if you finalize your romance with Miranda. I think I can't remember. I need to go back and watch that. I need to go back and watch the videos. Well, I'm close to romancing her anyway, so it'll be fine. So yeah, just a little fun fact: the song that Tali sings along with in that movie in the Citadel is the exact same song that plays during the romance scenes with certain romances. So there you go. If you want like a weird fun fact for you, there you go. So yeah, I wanted to get this out there just because I was sitting watching. I was watching like Miranda romance scenes just because Miranda's my favorite. And then I was just like, this seems unlike her to be in this sort of state where she's falling in love with someone. Especially if you look at the Shadow if you have like the layer of the Shadow Broker DLC, which comes naturally if you have the Legendary Edition, and you look through some of, and you look under like Miranda's stuff, like personal stuff, you can see she's tried dating before. She's just a bit too weird with it. I think she was trying dating sites. So yeah, plus wasn't it a thing of like that Jacob and Miranda were a thing at one point? I can't remember. I only know from the games. Apparently there's like books or something or graphical series. I don't know nothing of that. So I think they may have been a thing at one point. Which makes total sense as to why Miranda is sleeping, was having sex in the engineering room with Shepard, because Tali likes Shepard and Jacob and Miranda were a thing. That would make the most sense. Jacob's just sitting there like this motherfucker. No. And it makes sense that Miranda would show up after Jacob's loyalty mission and why Jacob says that she deserves a better man than I. So, yeah. Another reason I like Miranda. She has sex with someone else in front of Tali and Jacob. Wow. Awesome. I like that. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video here. This is a lot longer than I hoped it would be, because I kept mentioning the same reasons as to why Miranda should not be romanceable for a minute. Plus, I'm awkward. So if you guys did enjoy this video for some damn reason, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment down below. Can you kind of defend Miranda, Jack, Thane, and all that? Because I feel ridiculous saying that Miranda shouldn't be romanceable because she's like she's tied with Liara as like my all-time favorite romance options. Liara may be a bit more just because she's present in all 3 games, kind of like Ashley and Kaidan, but I have a special connection with Liara because Kaidan is pretty normal and I don't like Ashley. So yeah, leave a comment justifying my reason. If you can explain to me as to why Miranda, Jack, or Thane, and some reason Jacob makes sense for being romance options, let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you do hit that subscribe button, make sure to hit that bell notification so you don't miss out as to when I upload, because I guarantee you it's not gonna have like weird topics such as this. But I want to talk about this because I feel like romances in Mass Effect is one of the bigger things to mention in this game, so there's that. Anyway, Losomaniac out.